Great. Hey, hey, thanks, Joe, for coming back for more. I wanted to do a head count, a roll call, and and then we'll get the meeting started. So let me just pull up something really quick, and I will just looking at something. Here we go. All right. Here's the books. Yep. All right. So start off with the vice chairperson, Travis Tom.
Hello, how are we doing?
Doing good, brother. Terry Faber.
Harry
And
Faber, present.
Faber, you got it. So noted. John Singletary. Okay. John hasn't joined us yet. Brian Wong. Okay. Dr. George Houston. P.T. Wood.
I am here.
Good enough. Joshua Sharf.
Present if you need a verbal.
I do, because I can't see you. I'm looking at my list. John Caldera.
He said he didn't have the link. I'm going to forward that to him now.
Oh, okay. So we have 2, 3, 5, 6. All right, so we got 6. So we do have quorum. So we'll go ahead and proceed, and the meeting is in progress. So, did all of you see the minutes that Barb attached to the invite? And I've all had a chance to read those minutes.
I would make a motion to approve.
Very good. That's where I was heading. We've got a motion. Can I get a second? Okay. Barb, did you get who made the motion and who made the second? All right. Very good. All right. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. You can do that verbally. Do it verbally, or you can do it virtually.
Yeah, I approve.
I know. Did you get a count, Barb?
I have Chairman, Vice Chair, PT Wood, Terry, and Joshua.
All right.
John, I didn't capture you, I don't believe. You're in. Thank you so much.
Okay. All
Thank you.
right. Go ahead and lower your hands. Any opposed? Right. Not seeing any opposition, the motion carries, and the last meeting's minutes are adopted. Let's proceed. All right. Before we get started, I know people have been thinking about some of the issues that we talked about. Welcome, Brian. We have been thinking about some of the issues that we brought up and talked about last week. Is there any public comment from anyone that may be joining us for the meeting? And it doesn't look like we have anybody else on the call that's from outside of the membership. So we'll move on from that. So This is our new business for the meeting. I do want to talk a little bit about the rules and procedures, and basically just set the groundwork for how we will be, interacting with each other. And we're operating in sort of a modified Robert's rules. That I mean, I know they can get to be a bit formal, but I don't know if we need to go completely down that path, but we certainly can do things that will make the meeting go smoother. I mean, it's like we take the roll call and then the conversation that we have, I can, direct it and make sure that we don't step on each other as we're trying to get our points across. So when you want to speak on an issue, please raise your hand. You can do it with the raise hand function, and then I'll call on you. And then you can speak and address the point that you wanted to make. I try to be mindful of the time and that, say what you want to say, but say it succinctly, you know, and that way it gets a time. So we have enough time for all of us to have the discussion. So the other thing too is um, let's be mindful of being respectful to other people on the call. I mean, there's if you would disagree with the position, that's fine, but we don't necessarily have to do a personal attack. And I know we've all been in meetings where that occurred, and it it's not to my mind, it's not a good way to run a meeting, and it kind of shuts down the conversation, and so we don't want that. Um, that's really the things that I wanted to point out. And the other thing I was thinking about, we have, at not a lot of time to get this done. So I really would think that we might end up going, and this maybe it's a logistics thing, but doing something like little subcommittees that we can pair off and kind of work through some of these things that need to be accomplished in between meetings, because I don't know so that we can do all of the actual work in the hour we're allotted for our biweekly meetings. So um, that is what I was thinking about as far as laying out the ground rules. But I would open it up if somebody else had something that they wanted to add or they had, some objections.
Yeah,
Are we,
if
what's
I
that?
can't, if I can't personally attack Caldera, I don't know how this is gonna work.
I am fully supportive of Sharf's comments. Allow, I am unoffendable. I cannot be offended. Take your best shots and have as much fun as you can.
All right. So noted. If any need capping needs to be done, John is your man. Okay. So, all right. So we had actually the next thing we want to talk about is the shared repository, a shared folder for us to have our documents in, like the documents that Joshua shared with us all. Those will all be going into our calculations, and because it was brought up last time as far as sharing out documents that aren't publicly available, that's what we're going to use going forward. And I'm envisioning that everything that needs to get added to the folder that gets brought in would need to be put in there and controlled by our admin for the commission, which is Barb. But she can share that out to us with read-only permission so that we can view the documents but we wouldn't be able to muck about with them. So, um, and I would say probably best practice would be to just view the documents and just leave them there in the repository, not necessarily um, pulling them down the the shared folder. So, but I think there's a way to prevent that, but just just a heads up. I'd hate to see, uh, not that I think that any of us would do that, but I'd hate to see them be out and about in a modified format or something that maybe doesn't reflect on what the actual things are that we are working on the way we're moving. Hopefully that makes sense. So, um, does that does that all sound reasonable to you all?
I'm
Okay.
seeing thumbs up.
Is that a thumbs up? Good, good, good. All right. And so yes. All right. So we had also talked about bringing uh bringing in possibly bringing in some vendors who have expertise as far as gathering data and uh, going through it and comparing maybe other states or other ways that similar people that are in the similar situation as us are calculating the salaries and what do they how do they account for you know inflation or the cost of living in their prospective states or some stuff like that. Um, and we didn't actually come to any particular vendors that we could utilize, but I certainly would be open to looking at some vendors that might be available. And I'm pretty sure that DPA would probably have some of that information, but
Yes.
yeah, but there may be other sources as well. So,
Mr. Chair, may I
yes,
add to your discussion?
yes, please do.
Thank you. Barb from DPA. And yes, we are currently contracted with Mercer. Mercer is a
Mercer.
vendor that we have
Mm-hmm.
a state contract with who does our analysis and data gathering for our annual compensation report that's going to be published on October 1. And so
Okay.
there were some funds set aside in the bill to hire a person technically, but can be used however we need to support this commission. And so Mercer is well-known, expert in
Mm-hmm.
their field. We have the relationship with them and we have the funds set aside. They are willing to come and kind of give you a Reader's Digest version of all the skills and abilities that they have and how they can help this commission with the work that we're tasked with, if that's what you would like to hear about, what their expertise are, what they have access to, and I think as we go on in the business, as we go through
Mm-hmm.
the agenda, there's an interesting thing in the bill talking about gathering public information, which we have. Josh,
Mm-hmm.
member, has done
Mm-hmm.
that, but
Mm-hmm.
also private information, private sector. And so that's kind of a unique niche in the market. And so
Mm-hmm.
it might be nice to rely on somebody outside of ourselves to do that. But there's just a brief blurb about Mercer, and if that's something that the chairperson, vice chair, and all members are interested in, happy to arrange that.
Mm. Good. Thanks for mentioning that. I haven't had any experience with Mercer, but it sounds like you all have. So I don't have any objections to Mercer. Whoever we um, decide on or what's available to us, I would love to do that sooner rather than later if we can all agree on that. Because yeah, I'd like to have that information to chew through. So, Joshua.
Yeah, I just, if we do something like that, I think
Mhm.
we should be clear about what their role is. Because I think that it's one thing to present us with data, but it's another thing to suggest things that are comparable. I mean, to my mind, the only thing that's comparable to a state legislator is another state legislator. This is not an administrative position, for instance, where a private sector administrative position might be
Mhm.
comparable to a public sector administrative position. But the
Mhm.
only thing that's comparable to a governor is a governor. And so, or I should say, you know, to one of the statewide elected officials. And
Mhm.
we have different scales for that. There's a reason the lieutenant governor is paid more than the governor and so forth. I don't want to prejudice the discussion now, but I just think that that's really what's comparable. Um, that not, you know, he's not the executive director of a nonprofit. He's the governor of the state. And so those, to my mind, that's really what's comparable. So as long as we're clear about what it is that we're gathering without allowing Mercer to prejudice the discussion that way, I think
Mm.
I'm fine with information, and then we can choose to ignore it or use it how we
Right.
like.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't have, I agree with you on that. Because yeah, we don't want to go too far afield of what our actual information is that we need and from what sources. And that when we have the discussion, if it's Mercer, we most certainly will put in those guardrails. You know, this is what we need to do, and this is how this is what we want to compare it to, because we want to be apples to apples, right? Yeah, absolutely. Um, any other thoughts?
Yeah, if I could jump in real fast. Uh, I,
Yeah, John.
I second what Sharf just said. But also, I'd just like to remind that the legislature has a budget deficit, and I hope we can do our part to uh, not use as much money as possible to give it back to the legislature to do their work. Other than any information that we want, which is largely publicly available, I don't see what we're going to need from an outside vendor. So I would just like to, I'm also trying to be very uh, time sensitive so that we all have our lives to get back to. I think we're looking at, you know, a very specific type of compensation, and we can make our recommendations on that. Um, Quite honestly, I agree with Joshua that it's good to look at other state legislators, but that's only for a point of comparison. I've been around this long enough that there's this constant game where everybody compares themselves to, you know, a different group. City managers do this all the time, and it
Hmm.
is a game that keeps bumping up pay uh, depending on which groups you compare yourself to. So I would just, you know, we want to compensate our citizen legislators fairly, but they are citizen legislators. They know what they're getting into, and for those of us who've been elected to municipal governments and others, we do it because it needs to be done, not for the compensation. So
Mm.
I just want to be careful that we don't use the money just because it's there. That's all.
Mm. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, no, thanks for that, John. Um, other thoughts?
I guess I kind of want to wade in. I have worked with companies such as Mercer. They can
Hmm.
save a lot of time because they can pull data quickly and they can pull it very specifically to what we're asking them to pull. When I was working with companies like this, we wanted to know specifically by industry, by person, by part of the country. And we
Hmm.
could get that information quickly to help us make compensation decisions. So to your point, we have to be clear in what we're asking them for and the data we're looking for. But
Hmm.
that's what they do. They are constantly year round looking for data and packaging it, getting ready for people like us to ask for it. But I hear you. There's probably not going to be cheap, but I think it's my take is I think they could provide us good data as long as we're clear in what we're asking for.
Right. And it sounds like the the bill that passed actually looked at that as being uh, um, something that we would need to have access to in order to make informed decisions. So, and to your point, we're not looking for them to, you know, try to drive the discussion of what we should be doing. That's our job. But we do want the information so that we can operate uh, on based off of where we are and where, what other positions in other states are getting getting compensated for serving. So yeah, make it fair. But,
Yeah, I just want to say I use Mercer. I've used Mercer specifically as well for comp studies. And again, I think the limited scope of what we're looking at, legislators as well as the executive or the state officers, I think should be fairly easy for them to put together. And generally, it's just easy. They chart it out for you. Data's there. You look at your means, averages. It's fairly does a lot of the comparison work that we don't have to. So I would second or add to the support of using Mercer or some vendor that can do that for us. So thank you.
all right, thank you. Anyone else? I don't want to leave anybody else out of the discussion. It sounds like we have everyone who had a thought on that has had a chance to express it. So very good. So let me throw this out here. One, um, it sounds like, well, let me hear. I'd like to entertain a motion to use Mercer to bring them in and have a conversation about what data we would like for them to gather for us to use in our calculations for setting salaries, our compensation report. Um, Motion? If
This is Terry. I make a motion that we use Mercer or a third-party vendor to provide us data to help us make a decision.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry. We got a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second to bring in Mercer or another third-party vendor for assistance with gathering data for our information and setting salaries. It all in favor? Barb, let me know when you got your count.
Thanks, Skip. Chairman, I have Terry, Brian, and PT in favor.
Okay.
Did I miss anybody?
I
Okay.
think so. You got it. Anyone that still has their hand up, please lower it. Any opposed to the motion? Let me know when you have your count, Barb.
I show 0.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The motion.
I see 2 of us at least with our hands
Oh,
up.
hold on a second. I thought I heard pops.
Ah, my apologies.
So
My
I'm gonna make,
screen switched.
I'm
I
gonna make
showed,
it,
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna make a suggestion, which is that for votes, it's almost always quicker and easier and more accurate just to call the roll.
Hmm.
There are not that many of us, so you run through, what we have, 7, 8, 9 names.
Or if we just use the digital hands, or make it clear if we're using digital hands or physical hands, probably all we need to.
Yeah, I like the digital ones just because if you look at the participants, you can see them right there at the top. So
Barb, did you see everybody on the screen on the hands up? Because I think you missed my yes vote.
Oh, thank you.
I think, and that's also, I think, why you missed Josh and John's no
Yep.
votes as well.
okay,
My apologies. I'm changing my screen right now.
all right. Let's do this. Let's rerun that vote. Um, all right. All in favor of the motion signify by raising your virtual hand. I count 5.
I concur.
All right. Go ahead and lower your hand. Any opposition? I count 2 opposed.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So with 5 in favor and 2 opposed, the motion carries and is adopted. Thanks, y'all. So Barb,
Yes,
would can would it be possible to have Mercer come in for our next meeting?
absolutely.
Okay. Let's shoot for that then.
Okay.
All right. So we're on to I can't remember who was it that brought it up that about us needing a framework. So that was you. Good job, Terry.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, may I interrupt for one short minute, please?
You sure could, Barb.
John Singletary, I believe you are on the call, and I believe there's something you need to accept. Maybe it's popped up in your email or not, so that you show up as a panelist and can participate. We're working on getting John fully into the meeting.
Oh, well, I'm seeing a reasonable facsimile of John
Right.
on my screen. I just
Annabelle or Doug, can you be more specific, please?
Hi everybody, Annabelle Asp. John has joined in as an attendee, and I've given permission to come off mute and speak, and I'm trying to promote to panelist. And
oh, gotcha.
I believe there's something that John needs to accept in order to become a panelist. But I've done on my end what I can to promote.
Or you have to do something before you join the meeting.
And I've entered. Oh, it looks like maybe he's over now. There we go. There's John. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. So let's talk about some of the things that we're thinking about as far as framework. Next slide, if you would. All right. So with the primary objective of the commission is to set compensation for state elected officials. So this would include compensation for members of the General Assembly, additional compensation for General Assembly members for necessary attendance at meetings and functions, a per diem, and then also annual salaries for the state officers, governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state, and the state treasurer. Additionally, per diem sum for the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, and the minority leaders of both chambers, and when they are acting as governor. And I was looking at that information that Joshua sent over from was it the 79 commission? And it seemed like was it 79 or 75? But
So-
anyway,
So the, right, so
a
the
previous
spreadsheet,
commission.
right, so the spreadsheet is current information.
Hmm.
The
Right.
two documents that I sent out were from the previous commission, which began its work, I believe, in the mid-70s in 75.
Okay.
So, now there may have been I'll have to go back and look at those documents again. The second one may not have come out until later, but the
Yeah.
recommendations may not have come out until later. But but yeah, there was
Hmm.
but that was, and then I couldn't find any additional documents from that commission. So those were the only
Gotcha.
two I could find.
Gotcha. But it almost looked like the scope of what they were looking at was broader than what we're tasked with.
Yeah, they were looking at many
Yeah.
other offices. They were looking at things like DAs and school boards, if
Hmm.
memory serves, city councils. They were looking at, or county commissioners. They were
Right.
looking
Right.
at a much broader set of officials than we are.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Next slide. So then we were just talking about who's covered by this bill and who we would be evaluating. Just state elected officials, governor, lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the secretary of state, and the state treasurer, and members of the General Assembly, the House and Senate. Timelines, due dates, and deliverables. The commission's main deliverable is a report outlining its recommendations for salaries and allowances. The initial commission created in 2025 and each subsequent commission, which we will meet every 4 years, must adhere to the following schedule. Appointment of members on or before July 31st. We did that. First meeting no later than September 1st. We were damn close to that. Report submission on or before December 15th. The report must be submitted to the Office of State Planning and Budgeting, the Joint Budget Committee, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, and the Director of Research of the Legislative Council. And then at the conclusion of us submitting that report, the commission is disbanded and we are done. Cool. And now, Joshua, I guess you're up if you want to talk about a little bit about the information that you had found.
Yeah, let me see if there's a way to, I think Barb was going to share that on the screen. I'm not sure if there's
Was it Barb? No, it was
Annabelle. is
Annabelle. Thank you. I think
Probably
Annabelle's going to do that for us.
pulling it up as we speak.
Okay. Thank you, Annabelle.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, Barb.
Oh, absolutely okay.
All right, is everybody able to see the spreadsheet?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. Yep.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Annabelle.
so I'm just gonna, mindful of time, I'm just gonna briefly go over what I've done here, and then
Mhm.
we'll entertain any questions and understanding the limitations. So what I've done is I went through and I looked for states that have limited sessions. So these are states whose sessions are not, whose legislatures are not in session all the time. So there are states like California where they're basically become full-time legislators. And there are other states where they're part-time. I also wanted to try to keep somewhat apples to apples. So for instance, Texas, which only meets every other year, isn't on the list.
Okay.
And I'm not even, yeah, so they're not there, but they're a rarity. I don't know of any other states that operate that way, although, you know, we could always make that suggestion. The, um, so that was the first thing. The second thing I tried to do was limit it. So Colorado's legislature is in session for 119 days. I wanted to try to keep it like kind of close to that. So there are ones that meet for only 2 months, which I thought was, you know, kind of close, as opposed to ones that meet for say 6 months, which seemed like a lot. But the longest one that's part-time. The longest ones that are part-time are like Delaware, Nebraska, I think is a month more than we are, or actually 17 days more than we are. So not too many meet longer than we do, although a fair number meet shorter. The other thing that I did was a number of legislatures. So if you look at Delaware, for instance, Delaware starts the session on the 14th of January, goes into recess for 6 weeks, and then comes back into session and finishes their session in June. So what I did was I subtracted out the the days uh, the recess, figuring that that only that made as well. They're not in session and it's an extended recess. Then those really aren't legislative days. So then there are two types. I couldn't really account for mileage, but I figured it was worth putting that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worth noting, you know, because that's a if people are driving back and forth, 8 cents a mile, you know, adds up over time. Um, then I took the salary and I took the two different per diems. So there are states that have two different per diems. Uh, most states have that. A local where they're, or many states, I shouldn't say most, have that. A local where the person is not expected to have to pay, say, for a hotel, or some sort of boarding house or rooming house or
Mm-hmm.
lodging, and a distant where somebody, you know, really can't commute on a daily basis, and so they have to find some sort of lodging. So those generally get two different per diems. What I did was I then went through, so we have salary, the two different per diems, and
Mm-hmm.
then calculated uh, just based on what we had. What's the per day salary, the per legislative day salary, and then what's the per legislative day compensation for local and for what I'm calling distant per diem. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what does that look like? And then the last thing that I did was rank all of those. So if you just look at salary, where does Colorado rank? If you look at the local, where do we rank? And if you look at the distant, where do we rank once you add in the per diems? So there are those are the basic calculations on a per legislative day basis. I would point out two things in terms of what caught my attention when I found those documents for the previous compensation commission. They did exactly that same calculation.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did do, though, um, was they limited it to states of a similar size in addition. I wasn't exactly certain why they did that. It
Mm-hmm.
seems that that legislator is kind of legislator. If it's for a small state, they're still passing bills and doing the work as they are for a large state. Colorado, as it turns out, is like dead average, right? So, so I didn't see any reason to limit it in terms of size, or proximity. So, Alabama seems like a fair comparison as much as Wyoming. And so that's what we ended up with. Just on a legislative basis, I'm sorry, just on a salary basis, out of the 34 states that are included, we rank 13th. If you include the per diem locally, we rank 17th, which is right in the middle. If you include the distant per diem, we rank 9th, which is higher. One thing that I do want to point out, I did not make any distinction between per diems that are what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, where you have to hand in receipts, and per diems that are just a check. You're working the day, you get the per diem. And there are two reasons for that. First of all, you start having to deal with tax consequences because it's considered a reimbursement, it's not taxable. And secondly, it's just difficult to make, an apples to apples comparison then. And I will point out that the previous commission ran into the same problem and says that in their report. So they also just basically hand waved and said, we're not going to worry about that distinction. We're just going to write this down for comparisons purposes. So that's the data we have in front of us. And or the data you have in front of you. And that's the quick overview. We have a few more minutes. I'll be happy to take any questions on it.
So this is Terry. Can you describe local versus distant? What does that mean?
Right. So local is somebody who's maybe they live within, and I'm going to pick a number because it differs from state to state. But let's say 50 miles. They live within 50 miles of the state capital. So they're going to drive home. They're not going to stay in a hotel for the most part. They might, if it's a really late night right at the end of the session where, things are, but for the most part, they're not getting a per diem for lodging. They're getting a per diem for meals. If somebody's distant, if somebody's coming in from Durango, then they're not driving home every night. So they're expected to pay for lodging, and the per diem accounts for that.
Right. The meals, and that would all be covered, right?
So everybody gets meals. Somebody who's distant is going to get lodging as well.
Good.
And the mileage is a separate calculation. You get reimbursed for mileage. Usually that's on the IRS basis, right? So whatever the current IRS reimbursement is, somebody's driving for business, then I guess currently they get 67 cents a mile. Colorado, I think, reimburses at this point, or at least did when the NCSL was collecting, National Conference of State Legislatures, was collecting its data. Colorado was reimbursing at 59 cents a mile. So I figured that was worth throwing in there because that's also over time that's a not insignificant expense to the legislator and to the taxpayers. So it's hard to account for it on a per day basis because you don't know where people. It's going to vary from election to election based on where people are living. But especially with large districts, somebody could be from, it's hard to make an exact calculation, but it's worth noting.
Okay. I did notice that Alaska seems to be an outlier. They've got their session's the same as ours, but man, there's a huge difference in the salary.
Yeah, I guess all that oil money. Well, part of it is the per diem. they're a big state. And so if you have
Mm-hmm.
coming in from,
A lot of driving.
from Nome, or, somebody taking a small plane from, the middle of the state. I mean, I'm assuming most of them live in, so Juneau, most of them live in Anchorage or, uh, maybe somewhere along the coast in the southern part, but.
Yeah, for reference, Texas is larger than the whole country of France, and Alaska is twice the size of Texas.
Texas.
So
Wow.
That was always the joke, that the Texan and the Alaskan are having the argument. The Texan says, you better, or the Alaskan says, you better be careful. We'll cut Alaska in half and make Texas the third largest state.
All
So,
right.
yeah, so that's what we have. That's what I was able to come up with. I
Oh,
did not make any allowances for cost of living or for anything like that. Um, uh, we can, when the time comes, we can argue how much we actually want to account for any of that. This doesn't, this spreadsheet does not account for any.
So on
good.
the question of mileage, which is typically guided by the federal, because most of them are at 67 cents per mile.
Yeah.
So the 59 state, is that something that we would make a recommendation to say we would want it to be more towards the national average, or
We
what?
we could make a recommendation for that, absolutely.
I think
Um,
Colorado mileage right
mhm.
now for the IRS is 70 cents.
Is that what the federal is? But this was probably 67 at the time.
My guess
Uh,
is that this is, again, my guess is that this is a function of when the NCSL was collecting its data. I don't, we might want to check and see
mhm.
whether that's whether that's current.
Right, right. Yeah.
That's a fairly recent survey. I think NCSL published this at the end of 2024.
Oh, oh, okay. Uh, any other questions for Joshua? About the spreadsheet? And Joshua, this is in our repository, right?
Should be. We can put it there. I think it was emailed out to everyone, but it should be.
Okay.
Mhm.
Barb,
I
did
will,
that make it in?
it's not in the repository at this time, but I will add it to the
Oh,
repository.
okay, thanks. Yeah, because this could be very handy to reference as we are
So quick
moving
question,
through.
how do we get access to the repository? Was a link sent out? Did I miss something?
Not yet, but you will. I mean, you
Okay,
won't miss something. You will get a link, is what I'm
good.
trying to say.
Okay, that's what I
Mhm.
just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Good.
Okay. And
All
time
right.
check, we have about 8 minutes left, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Barb. And thank you, Joshua, for putting that together. Right. Do you want to throw the
There we go.
slide deck back up? I think we pretty much covered this. Oh, so the meeting cadence, and thanks everybody who responded to that survey. So the way I'm reading this, Barb, is that Mondays at 3 p.m. was the preferred choice of all that responded.
Yes, Mr. Chair, it looks like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 3 p.m. came in at a tie in number one place. So, and we did have a comment saying Thursday, question mark. So I don't know what we would, how we would like to proceed with that.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so
Uh, um, thoughts on that? Anybody who's particularly absolutely can't make one of those days and or times. Um,
Well,
John, were you gonna, looks like you came off mute.
That would be Joshua, I believe, right?
John, you came off mute. I wasn't sure if you wanted to say something.
No, I'm good.
You good?
Whatever works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me throw this out. Uh, that we've been doing the Tuesdays, and we seem to get most of the people here. So should we just keep it on Tuesday, but maybe change the time to 3 o'clock?
All things being equal, Monday works a little better for me,
Okay.
but
if we do change it for Tuesday, we'll probably, I'll miss it or we'll have to, or we'll miss a Tuesday, because of the holidays, that the Jewish holidays coming up.
Hmm.
you
Gotcha.
could always convert, and then we could have our meetings.
You know, you've pitched me on that before, John.
That kind of sounded like a
But
personal attack too. So
it was, but we already opened the door for that.
It was not
Good job.
only personal, it was anti-Semitic, so we can wrap it all together.
Monday?
On me personal, I'm okay with any of them, but if we move it to Mondays, we may have one holiday coming up in that time where we would have to move it, right? But that's doable.
Was that,
Yeah.
Columbus Day, or what?
Mm,
I don't know any others.
Mm-hmm.
let me look.
Mother Cabrini Day.
Oh,
But yeah, that's the only one I can think of that'll, well, yeah, because Thanksgiving won't run into it, so we're good there.
Mhm.
Yep.
no, it's not on a Monday this year.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the week where there's the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday holiday, accounting for everyone here, maybe October 9th on that Thursday might be a day to account for all the holidays and not missing a meeting.
Or
It,
move it to a
yeah,
Thursday for that one instance.
potentially, yes.
Okay.
Annabelle, can you go to the next slide? Would you mind? And the reason I'm going there is we were also going to talk about cadence with it every other week. I'll defer to you, Mr. Chairman, on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I think this is reasonable. I think it's the holiday is on. Is that on the 11th?
Let me look that up.
What was the 11th? Monday.
It's the 13th, I believe, or
It's the 13th. Okay.
No, I show Mother Cabrini's
Oh.
holiday is
Or it's
October
the
6th.
6th, yeah.
That's what
October
Google
6th.
said.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Doug Platt.
Yes.
November 11th is a Tuesday. That's Veterans Day. Monday, October 6th is Cabrini Day.
Gotcha. So then we're, except for the November one, we should be okay then if we do it on Mondays. right? Because you were scheduling for Tuesdays.
Monday is way harder for me because we have our the first Monday of every month, we have our congressional leadership meeting. The second Monday of every month in the afternoon, we have our community leader roundtable. So that gets me out for probably 2 of the Mondays every month.
Two
Mm.
of them. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So, would it be fair to say it looks like we've got it narrowed down to Monday or Tuesday?
What about Wednesday?
Yeah.
We hadn't talked about Wednesday. We didn't talk about Wednesday.
I mean, it gets away from the Monday holidays. I think some of the other holidays were one other thing was on a Tuesday. I didn't see anything
It
happening
was
on
the
Wednesdays. Yeah,
Veterans Day. Yeah, it was
I
on a
didn't see anything
Tuesday.
happening on Wednesdays.
Anybody have any heartburn about Wednesdays?
Well, again, it depends on the Wednesday.
Hmm.
I think the Jewish holidays are Tuesday, Wednesday.
The
So
Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay.
what we could, do you have what I sent you, Barb? Because let me see
Yeah.
if I have, because what I'd
The
like,
Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay.
I
And how many holidays we're talking about, Joshua?
yeah, so it's, let me see. Well, there are,
Mis-
yeah, so here are the, go ahead.
yeah. To Mr. Chair, if I may interrupt for a moment.
Sure.
When I went through and created this schedule, I created it around the holidays that you shared, Joshua.
Yeah.
But I did miss November 11th. So what I could do if you would like is to rework this and put the day of the week on there as well. So for instance, well, today is a Tuesday, and then the 30th is a Tuesday, and then the next meeting on the 13th is actually a Monday to account for the holidays that you shared, Joshua.
Oh, I see what you did. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so I,
the only
yeah,
week that we have where there is a holiday, one of my holidays, and a and a meeting. So that one is September 30th, but that I don't think that's a problem for PT because that's not the first of the, is that correct?
Yeah, I will actually be in the desert. I hope I have cell coverage and I'll dial in, but that is the one day I will be out on a Tuesday.
On a
Hey,
Tuesday,
Josh.
but okay, well,
Yeah.
but the others, well, what I'm saying is that the others you seem to have been able to work, right? So the other one where there's a meeting and the holiday is the 13th of October, which is a Monday. And PT seems to have a problem there because of the community roundtable, right? Okay. Would it be would that be okay to move that to a Thursday?
How
October
many?
16th.
Yeah. Oh, Joshua, how many meetings are we talking about you missing?
Right now, it's, well, I mean, the holidays are, yeah, go ahead. Barb.
I was going to say, I was looking at a calendar. My husband's Jewish. So Rosh Hashanah looks like September 23rd and 24th. I didn't see Yom Kippur though, so I wasn't sure. Is that the one in October?
That's October 2nd, yeah.
October
October
2nd. Okay.
2nd. Okay. So, and I'm sorry, but based off of where we are now, if we were to adopt something like this,
Oh, there it
what
is.
would that which one of those would actually fall
Oh, this would be
on one of your holidays? Yeah.
this day. Oh no, Barb was able to miss them all.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
the calendar we have in front of us, Barb was able to miss them all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only challenge here, I think, would be changing it to October 13th, which is a Monday, is that we might lose PT on that day. Correct?
Yeah,
PT?
that's probable, but maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
And
But it
then
would
the
be
other,
the only, that would be the only day though that
Mhm.
you would be oh sorry, out of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 13th is also Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. So I don't know if, I
That's
mean, I'm
Mother
not,
Cabrini's. Mother
oh, is that
Cabrini's
Mother
Day.
Cabrini? Is that how we
Mm,
celebrate it here?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Uh-huh.
so 13th is that, and then we run into that problem at the county because we do Mother Cabrini Day, but then the schools do the 13th, and so they're both holidays.
Mm, mm-hmm. And then so uh, folks that are working, they would probably run into an issue with that, like Barb and Annabelle.
Mr. Chair, if I may, we are 3
Mm-hmm.
minutes, 4 minutes now over time.
Yeah.
Would it be helpful if I put together a different view of the calendar with a couple of options on the challenge weeks? And then we can revisit that next week, knowing that our next meeting will be on September 30th.
Mm.
Would that be helpful?
I think so. It feels like we're pretty close though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see like basically this one day, the October 13th at this point.
Well, I see October 6th as Mother Cabrini Day in 2025, but it may be another holiday like Columbus Day, I think. And then
Mm-hmm.
also November 11th is Veterans Day, so that's not going to work. I'll need to
Right,
adjust
right,
that one.
right. Okay. Well, let's do this then. I don't want to keep people over. Appreciate it. I actually have another meeting to go to as well. But yeah, we'll put a pin in this one, Barb, and let you do your massaging on it, and then
Okay.
we'll bring it back. All right. I'm going to let's push this one off to the next meeting to discuss the interested parties.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good enough. So we'll go ahead and adjourn. And I was going to ask maybe Barb if you could hang out for just a minute before you
Okay.
bounce.
Yep.
And then we'll let the other folks get back to their
You guys have a great
lives.
afternoon. Good to see
All
you.
Thank
right,
you,
you too,
everybody.
brother.
Thank you
Okay.
all. Bye-bye.
All righty.